Hello and welcome, family, to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms, in your own narrative. The narrative is king, family. I don't know if you've ever heard that phrase. The narrative is everything. It is at the very foundation of this false narrative, literally, this false matrix that we find ourselves living in. And, I get a lot of questions, family, from Christians who are like, different phases. Some want to argue with the shows I've done on the fact that Jesus never existed, and the Ten Commandments were taken from the laws of Ma'at, or at least the priesthood of the Levites, the book of Levi, and many other things like that. And it's like people find it so hard. It's crazy that the wind is so crazy right now. People find it so hard to accept some of these fundamental truths. And the first thing they want to do when you say anything against Christianity is not even debate or open up their minds. Because remember, we're here to awaken the people. So we're going to give you information that we want you to use to unlock your own mind. Because within your mind is where your power is trapped, where your liberation is trapped. And the thing that Babylon has done is they have locked your power in your mind. They have locked your godhood in your mind, and they've thrown away the key in the name of freaking religion and religious psychosis. And I call it a psychosis because Christianity, and probably by extension Islam, but I never talk about Islam because I don't know much about it. But Christianity, family, is designed to make you fear absolutely everything. And that's why it's so dangerous. And that's why so many of you are struggling to get beyond, to graduate from the religious psychosis. Because you can look at Christianity as a very basic understanding of universal life, universal principles, and just how life works. You can see it as even baby school. It wouldn't even be kindergarten. It's baby school level, a very basic level that you would even give like a half animal, half man. The animals are very intuitive. Let me not bring them into this. So it's a very basic level. And for you to really tap into your power, you have to move beyond Christianity. And what Christianity has done so well is put so much fear in you that you literally, you don't question anything. You accept everything by faith, even when it doesn't make sense. You won't verify what is said in the scriptures because you've been told to believe. And literally, you've been taught and programmed to believe blindly and to fear even trying to make your way to the truth. And that is why Christianity and religion is one of the strongest tools. It was a military weapon, family. It was a mental psyop. It was a mental military operation. They sent in the Christians before they sent in, the ones who would sell us to slavery. They were all part of the same mission, family. The missionaries came and shared all our secrets, wrote everything down about our people, how we worship. They came and destroyed all our shrines, created a chaos spirit, divide and conquer. And then from that angle is when all these other, the soldiers and the slave traders and all these people came in. Same with Islam, family, and North Africa. And Christianity keeps you trapped because of this fear of hell. What is hell? Hell is the life you're living right now on earth, family. And it's about to get real. They've talked about hell so much that they're literally manifesting hell on earth. And hell on earth has existed for hundreds of years for our own people. Just like they've been living in heaven, in their so-called heaven. We've been living in this perpetual hell of not even knowing who ourselves, being the butt of every joke, being the slaves, being the colonized, being seen as less than, being seen as the dark continent. And all of this has its basis, family, on the religious psychosis. And people take for granted how damaging having an image of a Mzungu Jesus and a Mzungu God is on the psyche of our people, and the fact that we're taught this from birth. And then many are baptized, which is a ritual where they're taken out of their own ancestral bloodline and baptized through water, one of the most powerful element, the oldest element, into this false religion. And so when I talk about the Pope coming with the head of the Anglican Church and the head of the Scottish Church, like, that's not a good thing for us. Because the last time they came like this in the form of missionaries, our brothers were sent off into slavery and we were colonized. But at the root, for all of you who have emailed me and really want to get out of the religious psychosis, you have to recognize that at the root of your enslavement, of your mental enslavement, of your religious psychosis is fear. They keep you through fear. They've made you fear gifts. They've made you fear people who are like Superman, people who can heal, people who can see the future, people who can see through you, people who can feel your body and tell you what disease you have. They've made us fear this intuitive side of us, this natural side of us, by making us feel that if we tap into this natural side, it's wicked, it's evil. And these are generational indoctrinations, family. This started with our grandparents and our great grandparents who saw their seers, their prophets, their kings, their royal priesthood burnt, butchered, killed in all kind of, cruel and unusual ways, family. And that fear started from now and it went into our blood memory, because the memory is not here. The memory is all of this, is it all our blood. And that's why people will develop issues in their knee, issues in their elbow, issues in their heart. It's all because of these negative emotions and the feelings that create toxins in our bodies. Stories for other days. But the first thing to your salvation, to your true liberation, family, is to recognize that they want you to fear everything so that you don't question anything. And so you must start questioning and move through that fear, move through that guilt. It's not easy, but you have to do it. You have to break the shackles of this mental slavery, family. And so I guess a big question is, how do we do that? How do we move beyond the fear? How do we break that curse? Because there's the curse of fear, and fear it's like a principality. It has so many different dimensions. Fear of dying, fear of going to hell, fear of sinning, fear of this, fear of that. But if you were to break each one down, you'd see there's nothing to fear but fear itself. And don't they say fear is false evidence appearing real? Like, the joke is always on us through this English language, family. And it's not to say there aren't truths in the Bible, there aren't truths in the scriptures. But they've used those truths, which are our truths, which are our story, to wrap up lies, because a lie is not strong enough on its own. A lie needs to be as close to the truth as possible for it to have that sticky effect on the group consciousness and take root. If a lie is too much like in your face a lie, it will be naturally rejected by your own intuition. Family, they've even made you fear your intuition. They've made you fear your inner voice. That's basically what your intuition is. They've made you shut down your mind's eye, which is your first eye. That's how you first see anything. It's through this mind's eye. And this is why you find yourself paralyzed and literally a sitting duck for the New World Order agenda. Because they've handicapped you. They've mutilated you, family. They've put you to sleep. The majority of this world is under a deep, deep hypnosis, family, that many sadly won't get out of in this lifetime. And it's like they make you almost allergic to the real truth. And so, whenever I see some of our Christian brothers and sisters reacting so strongly, like they can't even debate, at least Muslims, they can debate with you about the Quran. Well, usually it's the Quran versus Christianity, those are the debates they like. But family, they got you good. And it is a struggle in the beginning to get out of it because they didn't do this just like that. But they make you curse yourself through fear because you put these crazy, oh my God, if I do this, I'll go to hell. And then you do it, and then you're in this mental hell. But anyway, how do we get out of it? I think that's the most important question. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Wake up, Africa! Welcome back, family, to Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. Thank you so much for joining us on this platform. Special shout out, of course, to our Patreon family. We appreciate, love you so much. And there are many more spiritual conversations on there. So definitely consider supporting us on that platform, family. How do we break out of this fear? Because so many of you have told me that you're trying to come out of Christianity, but then you get pulled back because you fear you're doing this and you fear you're doing that, and it's real. The religious psychosis is real. I even feel they make you even create demons in your own head that come and attack you. Anyway, maybe I'll get into that in a next episode, in a future episode. But the first thing, family, is you have to educate yourself. You have to read the facts, read the various stories, watch all the different documentaries that talk about how Christianity was created as a military operation to colonize Africa. There's a few books I've shared. Read about the pagan origins of Christianity. Read about, the damage that Christians and missionaries did in Africa. Read about your history. Know what slavery was about. Know what colonialism was about. Read about how the very first slave ship was called Jesus. That's a whole other narrative, family. But if you really want to break the chains of this mental prison, the first thing is to fill yourself up with facts, so that at least you break that doubt that you're doing something wrong, or that, that all of this is a lie and all of this is conspiracy theories. And there's a lot of information out there. You can read it, you can listen to audiobooks, you can watch various different documentaries online. So first do that, family. First start to fill your mind with the real stories, our real story, not his story, our real story. And then once you've done that, family, start to actually, listen to yourself. Start to develop your spiritual gifts, which means like doing things that were never encouraged, going into nature, being in nature, sitting in nature. I remember when people used to tell me yoga is demonic and this and that, when yoga actually originated from our people. Try a little yoga. See what happens to you when you do the demonic practice. But I'm just saying, go beyond your comfort zone. Go beyond your comfort zone. You see, in Christianity, you're taught a lot about how to pray for this and beg for this and beg to that. But you're never taught about the importance of listening to what the Most High has to say to you, of listening to what your spiritual team has to say to you. Dive deep into that, family. Dive deep and start to try and hear and cultivate, because you all have that inner voice. Some of you only use it when you're in extreme danger, so it will warn you of things. Some of us, it's like we're in a constant conversation with our inner consciousness. But start to cultivate that inner voice. Start to listen to that inner voice. And once you start doing this, family, I'm not even advising you do this, but it will happen naturally. You will find that your friends start to shift. Friends who believed in certain things just won't do it for you anymore. And so you have to prepare yourself for a great shifting in your life. And maybe I'll go deeper into what that shifting looks like in a future episode. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. But as you start to shift your mind, because you see, when I say we're spiritual beings having a human experience, I'm more than serious. Like that really is how things work. And so when you start to fill your mind with the real stories and you start to change what's going on in here, there's a shift that starts to happen in here, family. And if you change your inner world, your outer world must change. And what you see in your outer world right now, you're seeing it because it supports your belief system. It supports your narrative. If you start to shift your narrative, your friends must change. The company you keep must change. The social activities you engage in must change. Everything must change and shift. And that is also a very good indicator that you're moving out of your mental prison and you're actually coming into a new dawn and a new day. Is when the reality around you starts to change, when friends start to drop off. But have the courage, family. And when you see things start changing, don't think it's because you're sinning. I mean, don't stop those things or you're under attack. No, it's just that you're leaving one world, and that world has done they never thought you'd leave it. They thought you were stuck there forever, and you're entering a new reality, a new story. And so everything for you must change. And there will be a lot of yo-yoing, but there is a point where sometimes that's why I say start with the knowledge, because there's a point where you know too much. You can't go back into that lullaby. You can't go back into that psychosis because you just know you know too much. You know it's a fantasy. And it's not easy, family, when these things start to fall away. Because sometimes you can literally feel like you're having a mental breakdown because you are having literally a narrative breakdown. The way you've always seen the world is cracking and falling away so that you can have a new vision and enter a new narrative. Do change for at least 21 days, family. You know, it takes us 21 days, or I would like to say a moon cycle, which is 28 days, to totally change our psyche or to start to shift. As I've mentioned so many times before, they usually say, you know, for in these Alcoholic Anonymous and drug whatevers, stop for 21 days. And then it will have become enough of a habit where you'll be able to continue. Start by filling yourself with knowledge. Start by doing all the things you were told were crazy or spooky. Go out in nature. Go by the beach. Go by the lake. Sit under a tree. Identify a tree of knowledge in your neighborhood, in your community that you'll be just sitting under and communing with. It's alive, family. That tree is living. And it's way older than you most of the times. Start to listen to your inner voice. Some say, who do we pray to when we're going to this transition? Pray to the Most High and your spiritual team. And they will start to teach you how to pray because we're not begging for anything. We're commanding reality to manifest that thing for us. But we have to show ultimate gratitude to the Most High, to our ancestors, to our guardian angels, to our entire spiritual team, which is way more complex than even that. If you have any other advice for our new family that is an awakening, please leave it in the comments below. Until next time, family. Tuko pamoja.